Namaste, welcome to Yoga Basics. My name is Michelle Chua, and for this practice you want to have 2 yoga blocks, you'll see that behind me, and a strap. Anything around the house that you could use for the same purposes will work too. Let's begin setting the blocks side by side, or maybe you use a pillow or a folded blanket to sit on towards the front edge of, as you let the thighs turn out in front of you, and adjust how close together the shins are crossing or how wide apart to what's comfortable for you, where you can evenly press down through the left and right bottom sides of your pelvis, those 2 bones at the bottom, the glutes, your sitting bones. And through that, enable your spine to lift up a little taller. The shoulders relax back and down. So today I'd like to focus on balance. Balance in its many aspects. When we talk about the 8 limbs of yoga, which is basically how to live the practice, the science and art of yoga as a comprehensive system, the second limb of yoga, which are the niyamas, are ways that we can practice harmony with ourselves. And one of the practices within that is something called brahmacharya. And brahmacharya, loosely translated, means living in a state of balance by being selective with how you send out your energy, what you focus on, what stimuli you allow your senses to take in. For example, the media that you choose to watch, the company that you choose to be around, the food you consume, how you care for your body, in how much sleep you get, all the different factors of daily life that influence how we feel energetically. So brahmacharya is the wise use of energy, how we channel our energy, how we put it out there, how we do all kinds of things with our energy. So balance is the main goal of that. Hatha yoga, which is much of what we practice here, it includes the physical poses, the breathing techniques, and meditation, is much about balancing our own energies. These different postures work with different channels of energy in the body, as well as chakras or main energy centers. As you know, some postures open up the hips a bit more, or open up the heart center around the chest, neck, and shoulders a bit more. The purpose, again, is balance, to create an energetic state of balance where we're not so active or so stagnant. We balance the yin and yang, or the Shiva and Shakti, or the lunar and solar. It's called many things. So within that, there are physical postures that can challenge your balance a bit more so that we can practice establishing balance. And it's important to remember that these physical poses are not only external practices, meaning not only for a physical body, but a lot has to do with what's happening inside, what we're focusing on mentally, if we're present, how we're breathing and regulating our energy to a state of balance. So remember that all of that internal stuff is really important when you're trying to balance in poses such as tree pose, for example, which we will practice today. And then when I talk about the outward practice of balance in physical poses, all of these hatha yoga postures that are active include actions that are counter forces. For example, right now, as I asked you to press downward through both sides of your pelvis, there is a reaction of lifting up energy through the spine, so the spine is able to lift taller. I call this, in short, rooting down to rise up. You know, that's the name of our community, to rise yoga. So it's pressing downward physically when you're balancing so that you can feel a lift upward. I'll go more into detail as we're moving through the postures, but just keep that in mind, rooting down to rise up. And then other ways of creating balance by playing with so-called opposites. Let's begin by checking in. So now as you're sitting up tall and relaxed, maybe close your eyes so that you can bring more attention to your body. To help pay more attention to it, you might even place the left hand on your chest. the right hand on your lower belly. This is also a way of resourcing. If you're feeling stressed, the warmth of your palms in these specific areas can help to soothe your nervous system. And for the next few moments, notice any sensations that you're feeling in your body, all kinds, from tension to openness. Being kind with what you notice, not having to judge your body or what you're feeling is good or bad. Now notice the breath. Just let it be natural, no need to change it. Sense the way it feels as it's moving in and out of your body. The way your body is breathing in any given moment is information about your energy. If you're feeling stressed or agitated, the breath easily becomes shallow and fast-paced. And if you're feeling very relaxed and present, the breath can be really long and calm and even. Again, no judgment, you're just being aware of what's here now. Now let's feel into the heart and the mind, meaning notice if there are any emotions that are moving through you right now. Notice what kinds of thoughts are passing through the mind. How does your mind feel? So now, having checked in with these different layers of your being so that we know where you're starting from, and we'll check in at the end to see if there's a difference, let's start to deepen the breath. So inhaling slowly through your nose. And as you exhale through the mouth, feel free to release any sound, maybe sigh it out. Again, inhaling maybe a little bit slower, filling all the way to the top. And see if you can breathe out just as slowly through the mouth. This time, breathing in, maybe a little slower. I invite you to hold the breath in for just a few seconds. Relax the body and observe how that feels. And then when you're ready to, empty the breath just as slowly and hold the breath out for another few seconds. Notice how that feels. And then let go of holding the breath and find a smooth transition between in-breath and out-breath as you lengthen both. I invite you to choose something that you can offer gratitude for, anything that you just genuinely appreciate right now. By practicing gratitude, we bring ourselves to a perspective of being connected with abundance. And that's a helpful place to start when you're setting your intention. So now clarify why you're here today, practicing yoga. Is there a feeling tone that you would like to invite into your experience? Or is there some area in your life in which you are practicing balance, inviting balance in? So mentally saying your intention now is a way of being open to how that will manifest, not constricting it to only what the mind knows right now, but trusting the process of life. I invite you to choose somebody that you can dedicate today's practice to, a way of offering up your efforts. And then together, let's open the practice by creating resonance, chanting the sound of Om, which is a representation of our interconnectedness among many things, 3 times. So let's inhale a little deeper. Oh. And remember that you are in charge of your body. If you're feeling something doesn't feel right in your body at the moment, see how you might be able to adjust it, or listen to the offerings that I give of ways to change the pose. Or you can always opt out. Of course, pace yourself and rest anytime that you might need to rest, whether it's sitting down or coming into child's pose. So with that being said, if you're sitting cross-legged still, let's switch the cross of the shin that's forward or on top as we begin a breathing technique that regulates our energy to a state of balance. And that is called Ujjayi Pranayama. And it means victorious breathing. And it's a style of breathing that also helps to warm up the body, to prepare it to move into poses, and to give the mind a very soft sound to help be present in our bodies, to steady our focus. So I invite you again to rest a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly so that you can invite the breath to expand fully throughout your torso into the top and bottom parts. And as you're breathing, closing the lips, if that's available for you. So you're just breathing through the nose. And as you do that, softly narrow or gently constrict the back of your throat. It's like you're breathing through a straw, feeling the breath glide past and come all the way down to the pit of the belly. So doing this allows you to create a very gentle whispering sound, like peaceful ocean waves rising and falling. Let the sound help to soothe your mind. So listen to a few cycles of that sound here as you begin Ujjayi Pranayama, and focus on balancing the slow length of in-breaths with a slow length of out-breaths. And as you move your body in the practice, if you notice that your breath becomes agitated, starts to become short, fast, or difficult, listen to your body and slow down. Whatever else we're doing here, slow down or take rest or back off. Don't go so deep in a pose. Use your breath also to help you monitor how you are balancing your energy. By keeping that balanced sound, you can know that you're balancing effort with easefulness, which is what we're looking for. So keep that going, the audible breathing. And let's start to make our way to stand at the top of the mat, placing your blocks in front of your mat like this, so they're on their tallest height, shoulders width apart. We're going to start to warm up with sun salutations. So as you're standing behind the blocks, maybe about a foot behind, separate your feet, your hips distance apart. And then look at your feet and spread your toes really wide. Spread your toes flat on the ground. And now point your big toes forward so they're parallel to each other. Use that as reference to paralleling the feet. Now, in this concept of rooting down to rise, let's practice it here in mountain pose. So as you're pressing downward evenly through both feet, the inner edges of the feet, the outer edges of the feet, the heels, as you're spreading the weight down, let your leg muscles become more active in that action. Feel the rise of energy lifting the spine a little bit taller. Now let's experiment. Notice a difference when you're just simply standing and you're letting your weight sink into the ground without putting that intention of rooting to rise. So as you're just standing like you're waiting in line at the ATM, the spine may not be actively lifting. You might be slouching. That affects the breath. So now come back to that concept of rooting down to rise. So press downward, energize the legs, lift upward. Can you feel those equal and opposite forces moving up and down? I'm going to reference that when we're in our balancing postures too. So keep feeling that. Join your hands together at your heart. Let's begin our first series of sun salutations, which is Sun Salutation C, Surya Namaskar C. Listen to the breath here. Empty this one. We're going to move right into breath-led movements. As you inhale, slowly raise your arms forward and up, rolling your shoulders back, gaze up. Exhale, feel free to bend the knees so that as you bow forward from the hips, you can create the feeling of a flat back. Plant your fingertips on the ground outside of your heels and inhale as you step your left knee behind you, looking up, kneeling lunge. Hold your breath as you step to plank, the top of a push-up. Now, as you exhale, lower your knees, chest, then chin, sticking the tailbone up, hugging the elbows towards the ribs, firm in the belly. As you inhale, slide your belly forward, keep the hands where they are, and press down to the feet as you roll the shoulders back to Cobra Pose. As you exhale, tuck your toes and lift your pelvis high and back to Downward Facing Dog. Inhaling, step your left foot forward beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee and look up. As you exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. As you inhale, press to your feet and rise slowly. Follow the length of the breath. Gaze up. Exhaling, join your hands together from your crown down to your heart center. Let's take another one to the second side. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and drop your shoulders back. This pose is Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow forward towards your legs. Uttanasana. Plant the fingertips down. Inhale, step the right knee back. Look up. Anjaneyasana. As you hold your breath, step to plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest, then chin in Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward and roll the shoulders back into Bhujangasana. Exhale, lift the pelvis back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step your right foot forward beside your right thumb. Lower your left knee and gaze up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, step your left foot forward, bowing over your legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, press to your feet and rise slowly all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands slowly to your heart center in Padasana. Now moving on to our second series of sun salutations, Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. So call back your intention. Listen to the breath. And cultivate a feeling of gratitude as we're saluting the sun here. Powerful source of energy that keeps us all alive on this planet. Here we go. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead and roll your shoulders back. Exhale, hinge from your hips and place your fingertips either on your thighs, shins, blocks, or the floor. Press with your hands and inhale, lengthen your spine forward, parallel to the floor, half forward fold. Step back to the top of a push-up, plank pose. Let's pause here. Choose to keep the legs straight or lower knees on the ground right under the hips. Stack your shoulders right on top of your wrists. Gaze on the floor ahead of the thumbs and lift the sides of the belly. Spin your outer upper arms towards the rear wall. Keep your neck long, your belly lifted. And remember, you can place the knees down for more support. Exhale, glide forward as far as you can. Bend your elbows back so they graze your side ribs, lowering halfway to Chaturanga Dandasana, then all the way down. Press down through the tops of your feet and inhale to Cobra again. Exhale, lift your hips back to Downward Facing Dog. Let's spend 5 or so breaths moving the body any way your body wants to move here to loosen up. You might like to warm up the backs of your legs, like your hamstrings and calves, by pedaling your feet slowly in place. Maybe add swiveling your hips left and right, stretching the sides of your waist, maybe shaking the head and nodding it, relaxing your neck. We did have a request to help release tension from the neck and shoulders. We'll get into that, especially in the sun salutation that is included. Now, empty the next breath as you bend the knees and look past your hands. Then walk up to the top of your mat into your standing forward fold, or Uttanasana. Press with your fingertips on your legs, blocks, or the floor. And inhale, lengthen your spine forward into Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, bow towards your legs again, Uttanasana. Press down through the feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising all the way up. Drop the shoulders back. Exhale, join your hands together in front of your heart. Now let's take that sun salutation twice more in a continuous breath-led flow. Remember to pace yourself, and as you're breathing really slowly, invite the movements to become that slow and mindful. So we're continuous, but not rushing. Here we go, hands in prayer to start. Bring your intention to mind and empty this breath. Inhale as you raise your arms forward and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale as you bow towards your legs, Uttanasana. Inhale as you press with the fingertips and lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale as you step into plank and lower, forward, hug the elbows in, and all the way down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale as you coil your chest up in Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale as you lift your hips back into downward facing dog. This time, let your body be still. Steady your eyes in one spot and listen to 2 more slow cycles of breath, defining that feeling of balance of inhale and exhale. When you finish the second exhalation, hold your breath out as you walk up to the front of your mat, entering Uttanasana, or forward fold. Press with your fingertips and inhale, lengthen to half forward fold, or Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale again, Uttanasana. Inhale, slowly rise up into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale your hands together in Padasana. One last time, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Stepping to plank, exhale, lower forward and down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Bhujangasana, or Cobra pose. Exhale to Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. Let your body be still, steady your eyes, and rebalance the breath. 3 cycles of breath. When you finish the 3rd exhale, with the breath held out, walk to the front of your mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Then press with your hands and inhale, lengthen forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale again, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands to Padasana. Notice how you feel. Maybe close the eyes. Tune into a few cycles of breath. Notice how you feel energetically. Now let's warm up the lower body a bit more, like the hips and the groins. So take your 2 blocks and place them on their tallest height to frame your heels as your feet are hips width apart. Step your left knee to the ground behind you, entering a kneeling lunge. Remember in lunges to have the front knee bending directly on top of the ankle, but not in front of it. As you breathe in here, let your pelvis sink, look up, relax the shoulders, keep the feet where they are, and as you breathe out, start to lift the back knee and gently draw your right outer hip back towards straightening the leg to what's comfortable, bowing forward with a feeling of a flat back. Then inhale, bend the right knee again, and lower the left. Kneeling lunge, look up. Exhale, lift the left knee, scissor the right hip back, and fold pyramid pose. Let's keep going. 3 more cycles of breath. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Last round, inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. From here, come into a high lunge, so back knees off the floor. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step the left foot forward and the right knee back. Switching sides. Again, make sure front knee's right over the heel. Keep the right toes tucked. And as you breathe in, look up, sinking your pelvis. As you breathe out, lift your right knee. Draw your left outer hip back towards straightening the legs as you bow, only to the degree you could feel like you have a flat back, not rounded. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Look up. Exhale, pyramid pose again. 3 more cycles. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Take the full length of the breath to come into the pose. Exhale, pyramid pose. Take the full exhalation. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. And exhale, pyramid pose. This time, lower the back knee, set the blocks aside, and please make your way back to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, step your feet together to touch. Spread your fingers flat and relax your neck. As you inhale, raise your right leg straight behind you. Try to keep your hips the same height, meaning you're not turning out the right leg, but you're pointing the right outer hip to face the ground. Then tack the left hip back and get long through both arms. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your right knee towards your nose, round the back, and step the foot as lightly as you can between the hands. Spin your left heel down. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Press down to your feet and inhale, cartwheel your arms as you rise to stand in Warrior Two. Now with your arms wide open, pretty much your ankles are right under your wrists. Feel that you are rotating your right outer hip, the glute, underneath your body enough so that you can see your right kneecap is pointing out towards your right pinky toe, while at the same time, here's the contrasting action, your left inner thigh is rotating towards your pelvis, the center of your pelvis. So there's an internal rotation of the left leg. The back toes are slightly pointing at the front of the mat. And you're pressing the top of your left thigh bone back as the right outer hip rolls under. Then relax the shoulders and steady your gaze just past your right hand. Let's tune into another 3 to 5 slow breaths. Focusing on balancing in breath and out breath. Deep inhale here. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Spend a few breaths there, just checking in. Then step your feet together in downward dog. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you, squaring your hips, meaning both frontal hip bones are facing the ground. Exhale, bend the left knee towards your nose, round forward, and as softly as you can, step the foot right between your hands, spinning the right heel down. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. From down through your feet and inhale as you windmill the arms apart to rise up, standing in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Now let's feel those counter actions that help to create balance of energy here. Here, physically balancing the pelvis to a more neutral position. Rotate the left outer hip underneath you as you bend the front knee right on top of the ankle, pointing the kneecap towards the pinky toe. Right leg is slightly turned in as you firm the top of the right thigh bone back. Left outer hip rolls under. Then open the arms again, relax the shoulders, gazing on one spot, just past your left hand. Let's listen to another 3 to 5 slow breaths. This time, straighten your left leg and parallel your feet. Bring your hands to your hips and walk or jump your feet together to touch. Entering mountain pose. So we've opened up the hips a bit and we're practicing rooting down to rise up. Let's bring that concept into practicing balance in tree pose, which is called Vrikshasana in Sanskrit, Vrikshasana. Similar to Warrior Two, the lifted leg is turned out. And so that when you do, you want to feel that the sitting bone, that bone at the bottom of the glute, is reaching downward towards the inner heel of the standing leg. That will help you to get the turnout while still lifting upwards. I'll name a few things that are happening in opposition to each other to promote balance. So first, set up with your feet touching each other. Join your hands together at your heart. Feel the balance in your breath. The inhale, which is energizing, and the exhale, which is calming. Feel the length of each in balance. Now your eyes, your gaze, your drishti in Sanskrit is important for balancing too. So steady your eyes on one focal point that's just at eye level that allows you to maintain a tall spine. Now feel your weight on your feet, just like mountain pose earlier. Press downward to energize and lift upward. Feel how your hands are pressing into each other from opposite directions, left and right, towards your center. As you press inward, it brings the energy outward too. So there's this counter force happening here. We're going to do the same thing with the hands as we're doing with the leg in just a moment for tree. So feel that in the hands. Feel that sense of stability as you press towards your center. Now shift your weight onto your left foot. I'm going to mirror you. Spread the toes in the left foot from down through the left leg and lift up through the spine. Keep the breath going. Turn out your right leg from the hip socket. Keep the toes on the floor for a moment and press the heel against your left ankle. Like your hands pressing against each other, feel that connection between your right heel and your left ankle. Roll the right sitting bone down towards the inner left heel and lift up through the navel. Draw the navel in towards the spine, up towards the heart, lift through the back of the skull. Can you still feel balance in the breath? This is one version of tree. You keep the toes on the ground here. Or you could explore sliding the foot higher onto the inner calf and doing that same sandwiching action with a foot and the leg. Or if it's available, you can take the ankle with your right hand and place the foot against your inner thigh and do the same sandwiching action. Notice that when you press the foot against the inner thigh and the inner thigh presses back, it enables that turnout in the thigh. It enables that outward force. So again, inward to expand outward, root downward to lift upward. Just like the breath, empty to bring in the next. Let's stay for 3 more breaths if you're still here in tree. If your balance feels pretty stable, you might bring the hands overhead and join them or bring them apart. 1 more deep breath. Slide your palms together at your heart center and step your right foot to meet the left. Pause a moment, maybe close the eyes, and notice how you feel. All right, blink your eyes open. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Spread the right toes. Press downward to as much surface area of that right sole to lift energy up through the spine. Keep the breath steady and rotate the left thigh externally. Turn it out. Hug the heel of your left foot against the right ankle firmly and press back with the ankle, just like your hands. Rotate the left sitting bone down towards your inner right heel and lift up through the inseam of your right leg. stay here or explore pressing the foot against your calf. Press the calf against the foot. Or take the ankle and press the foot against your inner thigh and press the thigh against the foot. Make sure you're not pressing against your inner knee. Spine tall. Now remember, there's a relaxed effort that we need to bring into each pose, even though we're engaging muscles like the abdomen here, like the leg of the standing foot, right? There's a softness about it. Even though the eyes are focused, we're relaxing the gaze. Optional to raise the arms. Last 3 breaths. Tree pose or Vrikshasana. Join your hands at your heart center and step your left foot to meet the right. Once again, pause, maybe close the eyes, and sense what's coming up for you mentally, thoughts, anything. So one rather simpler way to open up the neck and shoulders, release tension there, is to come into a forward fold with your hands clasped behind your back. Forward folds can also be cooling and help you to go inward with your attention and reset energetically and mentally, especially if you're feeling restless mind. So try interlacing your fingers behind your lower back and lifting the hands away from the lower back. If they won't go very far, like less than a foot, then you can find your strap and hold that between your hands with your thumbs pointing away from your spine. Space your hands apart as much as you need to get a little more range of motion. Now, once you have the range of motion that you would like, we're going to help to open up the fronts of the shoulders and release the neck. So let's come into a wide stance. Face the wide width of your mat and step your feet really wide, almost like Warrior Two. Parallel your feet to each other. Really important. You can bend your knees any amount you need. You want to feel as if you're elongating the spine towards a flat back, not rounding the back. Remember, we want to open up space in the neck and shoulders. As you breathe in, roll the shoulders behind you and look up, lift the chest. Breathing out, breath by breath, hinge slowly from your hips and tilt your weight as far forward as you can so that if you look at your ankles, they are not in front of your hips. Your hips and your ankles are in the same line. Again, remember you can bend the knees any amount so your neck feels easily relaxed. And as we stay for about 5 to 7 more deep breaths, keep stretching your arms away from your lower back to help open up the fronts of the shoulders. And you can also shake your head and nod your head to make sure your neck is really relaxed. You could flutter your lips and relax your jaw too. As your arms are stretching away from your lower back, bend your elbows slightly to lift the shoulders away from your neck. And let's listen to 2 or 3 more breaths. This posture is called wide-legged forward fold, or in Sanskrit, it's called Prasarita Padottanasana. Now, release the strap if you're using it. Bring your hands to your hips, point your elbows to the sky, and bend your knees a lot. Firming in the belly, inhale as you lead from your chest to slowly rise up. Notice how you feel right now energetically. So in contrast to the sun salutations, which move the body continuously in opposite directions, that's meant to be more energizing, and forward folds, more calming. So we bring balance into the sequence of our physical practice too. Let's come on down. Set your knees apart, bent, and bring the soles of your feet together. We're going to Come into another forward fold, more cooling postures, and a hip opener as well. If you find that your back is rounding as you're coming into this position, which is called bound angle pose or Baddha Konasana, you can use your 2 blocks like we did in the beginning to sit on and sit onto the front edge of that. If you find that holding your feet makes you round your back because the feet are too far, use a strap as an extension of your arms and lasso it around your outer feet so you can stay upright. Now, as you root down to your sitting bones, again, lift up through the center of your spine. Breathe in. Exhale, bow from your hips just a little bit and pause. Breathe in, press the pelvis down and stretch the spine from it. Exhale, if it's available, bow a little more. And then you might choose to place the hands forward on the ground as you continue for another 3 to 5 breaths. Notice what sensations might be arising or shifting in your body. As you breathe in, press the pelvis down, begin to lift the chest as you walk the hands closer to you, rising up. All right, let's prepare for a breathing practice or pranayama to further relax our nervous system and promote energetic balance. As I mentioned, that yin, which is more restful stillness, and that yang, which is more active energy, bringing them together. This breathing technique also helps to balance the left and right hemispheres of the brain, the more logical and the more creative, intuitive side. So again, find a comfortable seat where you can breathe easily and be tall in the spine, but relaxed in the whole body. This pranayama is called Nodi Shodhana Pranayama, and it means alternate nostril breathing. It's practiced by closing the lips, breathing very slowly and gently through the nose, no longer making an intentional sound. And the left hand is going to rest on the lap. You could choose a mudra, one that helps to promote a deeper state of meditation is Gyan Mudra, and it's where you bring the thumb and first finger to touch and rest the palm face up. Now the right hand is going to be in Vishnu Mudra, sticking out your thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. We'll be using the right thumb to close the right nostril like this, and the right ring and pinky fingers to close the left nostril like this. So it's alternate nostril breathing. And as we're practicing, you might find it helpful to concentrate by closing your eyes and fixating your inward gaze somewhere along the body that's easy for you. Maybe right at your third eye center, which is your intuitive energy center, towards the middle of the forehead, inward, towards the center of the brain. Now let's prepare to practice 3 cycles of this pranayama together, and then you continue for 2 cycles on your own after. So empty this breath, sit tall and relax, hold the breath out. Right thumb, close right nostril. Inhale slowly through your left. Hold the breath in. Close left. Exhale slowly through the right. Hold the breath out. Inhale slowly through the right. Hold it in. Close right. Exhale slowly through left. Hold it out. Second cycle. Inhale through left. Hold. Close left. Exhale through right. Hold. Inhale through right. Hold. Close right. Exhale through left. Hold. Third cycle. Inhale through left. Hold. Close left. Exhale through right. Hold. Inhale through right. Hold. Close right. Exhale through left. Hold. Keep going for 2 more cycles on your own. Take your time to finish at your own pace. When you do, sitting here, breathe naturally and observe anything you feel after that pranayama. Then as you're ready, gently begin to lower your body to the floor so that we can rest comfortably in stillness for a few minutes of corpse pose or shavasana. Let your feet splay apart, wider than your hips distance. Turn your palms up by your sides, relax the shoulders away from the neck. And as you close your eyes, continue to let the body breathe naturally as you rest your awareness inward, maybe onto the breath. Now, as you continue to lie still, eyes closed, observe how your body feels now, checking in like we did at the start of this practice. Let's begin to very gently awaken the body. Start by rubbing your thumbs across your fingertips, wiggling your toes, maybe circling your feet. And then slowly stretching your arms overhead. Bend your knees and gradually turn over onto your right side, resting your head. As we pause here, observe for a few moments your breath. And now notice how you feel energetically. Does anything feel different about your energy? Then taking your time, press your hands into the ground and slowly lift your head, rest of your body up to sit. Find a way again to sit comfortably, tall, relaxed, as we practice 2 minutes of meditation. You might bring the hands in Gyan Mudra again, thumb and first fingers touching, palms face up. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze at eye level on one spot. Continue to let the body breathe naturally. I invite you to feel the breath coming in and out on its own. Wherever in your body you can most easily feel that. As you steady your awareness very gently on the breath like this, we're practicing concentration. If your attention wanders away from the breath, gently come back to the breath as often as the attention wanders. Just like we were practicing balancing in poses, bring a balance of effort in concentrating with a relaxed ease, being kind to yourself about it, being easy about it. And now notice how your mind feels. Sense the energy of your heart, any emotions present. Notice the effects of how you practiced yoga today. Let's join the hands to meet at the heart, gesturing gratitude and union. What is something that you appreciate now? Gratitude to yourself as well for showing up to your practice. The more we show up with integrity and love, the more the practice becomes part of us. Remind yourself of your intention that you came here with. And also remember to whom you dedicated today's practice. In closing, let's join our voices again, chanting Om 3 times. Inhale. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.